Good evening. We're going to start. Okay. Right. We have no members of the public, so we'll just crack on with business in hand. Apologies for absence.
Yes, so they've all been emailed out to everyone from Councillor Barnett, Councillor Lyles and Councillor Kirkby. Thank you very much. Also, just note that Councillor Bellamy is attending another meeting person, therefore may be a little late, but she is on her way. So you need to take a motion to accept the apologies and reasons.
Yeah.
Right. Receipt of updated disposable personal interest forms.
So I sent out by email Councillor Bransby's updated form, and in terms of considering it, what you need to do is note that it's been received.
Noted.
I don't think you need to read it out, Chair. Just say what the title is. Members disposable interest.
Yeah, members of personal and disposable pecuniary interest in items on the agenda and written request for dispensation with regards to the interest.
So, with regards to the written dispensations, a number of councillors do hold written dispensations, but as far as I'm aware, none of those dispensations apply to the business of this meeting.
Items on the agenda to be discussed in private session.
Do you want to just check, Chair, that no one's got an interest they want to?
Oh, sorry.
We're going to discuss the Christmas trees this evening. We're going to discuss those. So the Claudia's Arms, I've got a declare interest in that. It's my wife's cousin that's a landlord, so I'll set out for that one.
And now the community I'm the chairman, so I'll set out.
Let's give another prompt, Jeffrey.
Thank you. And I have nothing to declare in the way of interest.
Items on the agenda to be discussed in private session.
I couldn't see from my point of view as clerk that there was anything that needed to be discussed in private session. I'd just give a general reminder that should the need arise, the committee can consider going into private session for any item, given if there is a necessary reason. Just a reminder to just wait to say whatever it is you want to say in private session until you are in private session.
Okay, right, minutes of the previous service provision meeting.
Yes, so in terms of these, I know they're there to note, and I'm sure you can look at that in a moment. There's just one piece of information I would like to give, and that is there was a reference in minute 252605. Clerk to include in the agenda for the 23rd of June proposal for councillors to view DPIs via website rather than receive them via email. And just to say that was dealt with at full council, so just so that it's clear. So they're just to note, Chair.
Are we still on items on the agenda? Are we?
We're on minutes.
On the minutes.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The cedar roof, I just wondered what was happening about the cedar roof.
It comes up later.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
How did I miss that?
Because there's always an item about shelters.
Oh, right.
So
that's
it'll
where
come
it's
up.
in the
Yeah.
general shelters, right, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. So secretary now, but, the budgetary matters.
Yes, so apologies that the deputy clerk RFO's not here. He's on leave this week, and because he knew he was going to be on leave, he has produced that report for you to see. I'm happy to have a go at answering any questions anyone might have. And also the committee does need to note expenditure against budget and the budget lines year to date and earmark reserved information. So if anyone's got any questions, I'll have a go at answering.
Think of something really awkward.
I don't know if anyone's got any remarks they want to make about the item or anything they want noted about it. I thought his report was really clear.
Yeah.
No comments? Right, so no further actions on that one, everything's okay. So, Christmas provision grants.
Yeah, so
A list of, the applications, two applications, and the provision of the Christmas tree in Home Birth. The two grants from the Business Association and Home Birth Christmas team.
yes, just to say, for your information, last year, I think we had a grant application for 1,250 from Bonley Business Association, and I think it was just the 1,000 from Home for the Christmas team. In their applications, they have both explained why they're asking for more. Before you go on to consider these grants, I would just draw your attention to where you are with your Christmas provision budget, because it looks sort of quite confusing, because you've already got some of the Christmas tree grants in the recurring grants budget. So you've got some that are there, and then you've got some money in your Christmas provision grant. Because this was based on last year's figures, if you give 1,500 to both Homley Business Association and Home for Christmas team, you are necessarily curtailing what you've got available when you're considering whether you want to add to that list of rolling grants for the Christmas trees. So I'm just sort of pointing that out to you, really.
And last year Wooldale didn't get any.
Yes, yeah, yes.
Have we not the money, or did they not apply?
They didn't apply last year.
They planted their own tree.
Planted their own tree, but
Was it done?
no, it's quite small. But it wasn't lit last year, so.
They never found got two trees.
Hmm?
They never found got two
Yes.
trees.
So if I sort of give you an overview of that, of both sections 1, 2 and 3. So the provision of a Christmas tree for the centre of Home Birth. Lovely to talk about Christmas trees in August, but obviously that's when we get the notification from Kirklees as to whether we want to order a tree. So given that there wasn't a service provision committee meeting, I corresponded by email with both the chair and vice chair, and got their approval and agreement for me to organise ordering the tree for Home Birth Centre. So that's ordered, and it costs £1,224.06 excluding VAT, £1,468.86 including VAT. We can claim the VAT back on that one. So when you're thinking about your budget totals, we can claim the VAT back. So that's already ordered. In terms of the provision of small grants, you've got those 8 that I've listed in the agenda as you've already given those a rolling grant. So all they need to do basically is fill in the application form with the information we need, such as the insurance and so forth. So you're committed to those ones, subject to them getting the evaluations in. And now it is just the Scholes one that we're waiting for the evaluation back, because as you'll have seen in your emails earlier on today, I missed the Hepworth one, so I will apologise to Hepworth Community Association regarding that, because they did get their evaluation in on time. I just missed it in putting the agenda together. So you've had all those evaluations apart from Scholes, so those you are committed to, because they were rolling grants. The ones you need to talk about tonight are the Royal Oak Upperthorne New Mill Club New Mill and the Clodiers Arms Netherthorne. Now I can update you a little bit about the New Mill Club New Mill one, because I've had a response by email. They would like to have a tree. They're a little bit daunted about filling in the grant application form. What I've said to them is that every impression I've got from this committee is that you would be keen to support them. So, you know, I've given some reassurance that we can, you know, do some hand holding over filling in the application form to get that done. And I know, I think it was Councillor Dixon last year who was bringing the form backwards and
we
forwards.
pretty much helped them fill it in last year, told them what to do.
Yeah, but so
Anyway,
you know, I've got a name, I've got an email, and by tomorrow I'll have a phone number, so I can actually correspond with New Mill Club, the secretary
I
there
can sort that out,
directly.
because I'm down there on Thursday, and then I know the treasurer who's involved with it all, who does everything like this. So I can speak with him on Thursday if you want, and come back to you, Jen.
Lovely, thank you. So I would just say that, if well, in terms of your considerations.
Are you already chasing the Scholes? Why would you want me to chase it?
I've emailed them twice.
Yeah.
Gonna ring them tomorrow.
Okay, let me know if you need me to.
Lovely. So it's just the one person who does the organising, so I'm kind of assuming they may well have been on holiday. So, but yeah.
Can I ask a question? Why didn't Netherthorne get 2 last year, and there are 2 applications this time, aren't there? One
Because
for,
there were 2, in fact, Netherthorne had 3 trees last year, of which 2 were supported by us. And we had basically another application came in. I think that was from the Clodiers Arms, if I remember.
Yeah.
And we had some money still left in the pot. So we said, why not? But I think it's a decision to be made. I know what my view is. But
Carl, sorry, if we add up all the applications and the 2 full amounts for Honley and Holmfirth,
It's the
how much
budget.
short are we?
That's my question.
And that's all I was.
can I just point out, it's up to 250.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not necessarily 250.
No, but if we give out the maximum amount that's been applied for, how much short are we in our 2 budgets if we marry them together?
Are we sure?
Because I'm thinking Netherthorne can do without 2.
Right, so if you granted, obviously the Kirklees tree in Holmfirth is factored in.
Yeah.
And the rolling grants, they're factored in because you've already agreed those. Just bear in mind they're all different amounts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they-
I just want to know the total number.
So if you factor the Kirklees tree in, and if you gave 1,500 for each of the grant applications that you've got, that would leave £367.94 for any additional small grants. And as you've already said, there is a strong case to consider grants for New Mill, Upperthorne and Waldale. And although we've got no applicants for that at the moment, you know, but there's still time to chase and find someone.
So if we do Honley and Holmfirth and the Big Tree and all the applications and the 3 that haven't yet applied but we're expecting, how much short are we?
Depends how much they apply for, doesn't it?
I think, sorry.
Could I just clarify that when we gave the money last year, it was to support tree and or lights or whatever they wanted, decorations. I think quite a number of them will have bought lights and so on out of last year's grant.
Mm.
The tree itself is, well, I don't know what its price, but it's still well under £250.
I'm just wondering if we can cut out one of the nether, if we're expecting a second application for a netherthorn, it's not that big a village, does it really need 2 trees? I mean, nobody else is getting 2 trees from us.
No.
The honourable member for Netherthorn.
I'm going to make a comment about Homley because I think 90 trees in the light of a climate emergency is rather excessive, and maybe we should.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they go all the way down, they go all the way along nearly to Berry Road.
Yeah.
we go a long way.
Maybe they don't need to go as far, or maybe they need to be spaced out a little bit more. It would be my suggestion.
I was just going to say what Councillor Collins just said is based on an assumption that everybody takes the full amount, and as Councillor Bailey
Yes.
said, the chances are that they actually used quite a bit of the initiative last year and bought in things, so they just need the tree. We only have, we're not far off having enough money for everything that's been requested, if it's all requested at full. And I know from the agenda that 3 of them are unlikely to be discussable until the November meeting, by which time we might have a better idea of how much we've got left. If we just say yes to everything at this point, and then wait till November, it might be that we've got more than. If we are going to be awkward in November, we can say, well, okay, we'll give you something, but less, because this is all we can afford at this point.
Sorry.
In the Clovier's Arms grant application, it says that the project's been self-funded since 2016 to 2024. The grant is to give people a Nerthon Christmas tree light decorations and lights. So it doesn't actually say that the grant paid for Christmas trees. It says in the grant itself that's been self-funded up until 2024.
Until
2024. It's last year.
And they were almost surprised to get the money last year because they'd always been previously self-funded.
It still said that they paid for the trees last year in the grant itself, in the application.
Only one of them, there were 2 in Netherthorn, 3.
Yeah, we gave them money, but it says it's self-funded, the tree. In the grant application, it says it. So I'm just saying that.
Doesn't it say that they spent, I can't remember the figures, 1,000, they spent more, and so the 250 was a contribution.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was, and that was what the money was for. It was for, you know, spending Christmas decorations on tree or lights or anything. So I think, you know, they were almost surprised to get any because previously it had always been self-funded though. So I think that, but I think the 250, when they recognised that other villages were getting it, they were appreciative of it. But maybe not necessarily.
Okay, sorry, I think Jamie next.
I think Thomas was probably.
Oh, sorry.
Thomas first.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my thoughts were that 1,500 for Helen and Homley. If we agree to both that figures, that leaves us with about 1,800 left in the budget. And I think trees were 156 last year. That's right, isn't it? So we're looking at here 6, 7, 8, 11 trees. 156. Well, probably round it up to about 160. So that'll probably be about 1,800 up. So I think that will leave us about 300 quid short, something like that. So it's up to whether we want to get extra money from the reserves for something else. But also that only includes if we're including the tree. So if they're asking for more lights. So we've got a few options here. Like we could say that we're only paying for trees this year and you can get your own lights if you need them. Or you got your lights from last year, just use them. Or the other option could be that we maybe reduce down what we give to Home Firth and Homley to maybe 1,250 each. If we could do that, that's it. Give us an extra £500 extra as well, which we could give to the other areas, and still giving a good rent to both them areas. So it's.
Yeah, there's still unknown that what Lauren said.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure what to do.
Yeah,
So it always rings.
People will probably not need that much money.
So just one more.
Remind me that.
Right, sorry, Jamie.
After fighting coloring one,
Please stop fixing space.
Voices, just sort of, if you take a look at the grant applications, and this is going to sound like I'm the Grinch that ruined Christmas, I wanted to at least. The Holland Business Association, when I look at their finances on that one there, and they have an income of £20,000 per year. And expenditure outgoing is 15,000, and the current reserves are at £30,000, which is put in the bank. They don't sound like a very poor organisation in the first instance, and that's not me to be very judgmental about them, but they've got £30,000 in reserves in the bank, and we're looking at sort of nickel and diamond, the other trees that want 250,000. So I'd be very concerned about what they're going to do with all the reserves, just stacking money because for a rainy day. The whole first one, I'm taking a look at that one as well. They aren't quite as bad, but they do have some reserves in there, which looks to me they have an income of £7,055, expenditure £5,500, and they've got 9,141 in reserves. So they're still
big, it's similarly in
It's
comparison
still
to
hard to
Saturday.
win, and I would. There we go, the Grinch. It is Christmas, however, there's certainly the lights team, that's what they're there for, the Holland Christmas lights. So what they're saving the money for if they're not putting lights up with them. If they were to run out of money, then I guess that's where we'd be, so I guess I'm going to be here for that one. And the Honda one, they've got £30,000 on that one there. And I don't say we should be given no money, and I'll align with Tom on this one there. We should consider how we can best give money out to everybody that's asked for something, so we can support all the communities rather than just the chunks of it in big numbers.
Sorry, Lawrence.
Yeah, I just want to remind people that this is not about Honley and Home First specifically, but generally the idea of this scheme was that we contribute to the community provision. Not necessarily we are paying for there to be a tree in every single location. And so the thinking was, you know, we contribute, but also expecting and hoping that local communities will be raising money themselves through other things that they do through the year.
I mean, the Holly Business Association, we need to remember that they will have bigger reserves. They don't just do Christmas trees, you know, they're there all year round. And I think we're all aware of how much they do for Holly. I mean, they do a lot. I think Councillor Rostron's suggestion was quite a good one, that we kind of nod in principle and wait and find out how much it is. But the idea of lobbing a bit off both Holland First and Honley makes sense. The idea of looking at whether Netherthorne needs 2 trees, whether indeed we should be giving any pub or business money for their Christmas decorations is questionable.
Can I just say, there is a further complication as well, which I did refer to in the agenda, in that Kirks aren't doing Christmas trees this year, or they're not providing them to us, certainly. And that's going to be a complication, because one of the main ways we supported the different walks last year was where we actually ordered the tree for them and Kirk's delivered, and then they picked up. Well, we've got to see if we can find another supplier, and obviously one of the things we're looking for is another supplier who is local and will do the same service Kirk's did, and will dispose of trees ecologically soundly and things like that.
What about the people who used to supply Kirkby?
Sorry, I just want to say at this point, I want them to be sustainably grown trees. I don't want trees from Latvia.
Yes, but we will all vote on that. You don't.
Yeah, but I would like to put that out. That's what Jen's saying. You know, Kirks were local trees. I don't know. Were they not?
That's my understanding. I was told by them they weren't.
Right. Okay. You.
Coming back to the grants, is it possible to make up an initial lower grant to Holmfirth and Holmley, with the possibility that it may be increased when we see if the finances permit?
Does that seem a reasonable idea?
I think it's cleaner to say we're giving you this much, you have the task of raising that much, than to let you know we're giving you this much and we might give you more. I don't know.
What do you think?
I agree with Councillor Osborne. Councillor Osborne, isn't it? Yeah. because I think they're the two main grants that they probably need to know about the money tonight and what we're going to give them. And the other ones, we probably won't need to make the payments until November and do the final bits and pieces then. So, I think, yeah, I agree with that.
And there are three unknowns, aren't there?
Mm.
Three groups that haven't actually asked for any money yet.
4.
Well,
Royal Oak, New Mill Club, Clothiers Arms, I think, and Waldale.
I mean, the Royal Oak in the Clothiers and New Mill are all definitely interested in a grant. And the only one I've not chased up yet is Waldale.
Mm.
Well, when I spoke to Waldale last year and talked to them about getting a grant this year, but it would purely be for lighting and for them to install it.
Because they have the tree.
Yeah, that's a good tree. And I'm going up on Wednesday to the Waldale Arms, so I could go and talk to Dusty then.
That would be lovely.
So, what do we think then? What is the general consensus that we actually just accept what we have here? Because, sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just to say, I think it's perhaps been said that I think we give it to the two big ones because we're still only making a contribution. You know, those big events in Homley and Hillsborough cost more than 1,500.
Yeah.
And I think they will want to know they've got that. And I know, Damien, you talked about the reserves, but it does say what the reserves are held for, that it's for youth provision and the defib maintenance and things. So because they do more than just lights, they've got lots of other commitments in that reserve.
Just on that one, it does say that they do youth provision, but the values are far less than
They are, yes, but I'm
than
saying-
the reserves held. So that accommodates, so they've at least got a £20,000 reserve which aren't committed to defibs and youth services. I did look at it, honestly, I did.
Yeah.
I
But there are other things that they've
I
got.
agree with that.
They run their own Christmas market and that's going to cost them a fortune.
It is, yeah, yeah.
I think in this day and age, 30 grand is neither here nor there by way of a reserve, really. I mean, it's appalling to say it, but for a big organisation like that, it's not a large sum.
And when the lights do need replacing, they are very expensive, so like, that could be like £7 or £8 grand gone immediately, just for like, things like that, so you need it.
Okay. Marie?
I'd just like to move that we give both Homley and Holmfirth what they've asked for, 1,500.
I second that.
Move on.
Do we vote
Should
on
we
that?
vote on that?
We vote on that?
You've had Councillor Rostron's hand up.
Sorry.
It's only a quick remark. I always browse the internet when we're talking about this. There's a place that grows its own trees up on at Farmley Ties, and they're advertising 12-foot Nordman firs grown on their plantation for £120.
What's the name?
Order them now.
Christmas trees Yorkshire. I googled. That's what's come up.
I've used them in the past, they are good.
Yeah, Christmas trees Yorkshire. And I was going to ask what sort of height, what size are we talking about from these trees?
That'd be alright.
12 foot, no, 6 12 foot.
They might be a bit tall last year.
I look, because of Kirk's situation, I did look up and there were 2 or 3 local companies that do grow their own trees, so I don't think there's an issue there.
We have a proposal on the table that it's been
Yeah.
seconded. We need to
I'd like to
vote
be a
on
bit
it.
more than
Okay.
that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah,
It's
just
very
going
good.
to say something.
It does mention the delivery.
Yeah, I think Lawrence's
Roman,
point.
800 feet.
I think Lawrence's point about contribution is well made here, and it in some ways goes to address British concern about the number of trees. Buying trees, we're making a contribution to.
It says on their application, buying 90
But
trees.
we're making a contribution to their provision,
Our contribution is we're buying 90 trees.
you think?
That's what it
Well,
says.
that's what they have specifically asked for. They have said they want.
Anyway, let's have that vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we voting on?
Apologies.
We're voting on the two.
Vote on
two
Homley and
ones.
Holmfirth.
Yeah.
So, those in favour of giving Homley and Hobart the requested amount?
Carried.
And are we voting on
And
the...
do you against and,
Oh, sorry, yeah, those against? Abstentions? One.
And then what what I suggest, Chair, is regarding the small grants, I've got an application form ready, so I'll ask for applications to be in 31st of October. They can be considered on the 17th of November when you have your next meeting.
Okay.
By then we'll have sought a supplier. If we can't find one, we might need a plan B, but obviously it looks like we should be able to, and take it from there.
Okay.
And disposal, the scouts do a disposal thing, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no, we'll look at that as well.
Notice they could do 90 trees.
Mary?
I just wanted to make a point about the evaluation form. I think this is the same evaluation form that's used for larger grants, isn't it? And I just think it's probably overcomplicated, and I think it could be different down. So I suggest obviously the grants working group needs to look at it. It could be simplified, but you find the same things 3 times.
Yeah, and you notice that sort of people who are good at filling in forms, say as above, as above.
Christmas tree grants are different to normal grants, aren't they?
Yeah, they are different.
Right, okay.
And then,
So we've got to recommend to finance the rolling ones. Can I propose that we recommend paying the rolling ones up to what the sum it is?
Okay.
I'd propose that.
Sorry, what do you mean, up to whatever sum it is?
What is the sum, Jen?
The 250
So
pounds?
each one is a different sum, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the rolling grants.
So
But the
we need to
maximum-
put a maximum on it, is what I'm saying.
So,
Okay. Tom?
Is the 250 quid including the tree that we're giving them? So if the tree's like 180 quid, do they basically get about 70 quid? Or is it 250 quid on top of the cost of the tree?
it's never more than 250 quid. Each one varied slightly, you know, so
Yeah.
it's what they were asking for.
But is that on top of the cost of the tree, or is it
No.
the tree included?
No, including.
So basically, it's going to be around about 100 quid or 70 quid per plate for like the lights and things like that. Okay.
Well, Home Village, theirs is £156.
That's just for the tree, then,
Just
isn't
for
it?
the tree.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, it might not cost us as much as what I think it's going to do.
Which was Lawrence's point in the beginning.
Yeah.
People who have light might need a tree. People like not want a tree but just sort of want two lights, you know, and see what happens.
And they may not want a tree at all, they might just
Yeah.
want to decorate with lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home Village did a
All day,
nativity.
presumably.
Yeah, so the rolling grant cost varied from 130 for Home Village up to 250 for Honley and also for Brockholes. And Brockholes, we didn't supply the tree for, we just gave the whole 250 to the Rock. And Netherthong as well were the same. So,
Well, we could recommend to F&M, as we're being asked to consider, agreeing them up to all those amounts you just read out. Anything else, Tom?
Just other than the values of this one, it would seem it's a bit of a moot point, as these are already approved as rolling grants. So if we just note that and move on, that would be appropriate.
it's a paying out of them.
We have to vote to say we'll hand it on to F&M to pay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we vote now?
Yes, if you can
Okay.
vote on that, please.
So, yeah, those in favour, handing it on to no?
Lovely, thank you.
Against? Abstentions?
And that's on silent.
Okay. Right, end of Christmas tree conversations. Home for public toilets in the Gartside building, update. Quite a few things to talk about with this one.
Yeah, so a task from minute 242581 on the 24th of February was to arrange a reimbursing of Epic's redecorating cost from the start of their tenancy, and that still required actioning. I'm still sort of in communication with Epics about that. So apologies, I can't report more than that. And then the other thing, of course, is that we've had notice given on Epic's quitting. So what I suppose I'm looking for is direction from the committee with regards to reletting the unit, and to help you come to a decision about that. Rich produced the report that you've seen on costs arising from leasing to date, and also it was raised whether it was possible to repurpose the unit into a change in places accessible toilet, and Gemma's created a report on that for your information as well. One of the things you might want to consider is whether it will be better to look for a tenant once the works on the toilets have been completed, particularly given that I'm not going to be in work from the 1st of October due to my second knee replacement. So you're a little bit down on capacity when it comes to the clerking team now.
So, first thing to discuss is what is the general feeling about reletting the outside unit, or looking at Gemma's proposal to have a very specific changing places facility, which I think in terms of being a town centre facility and a tourist centre, I think is perhaps something that's quite attractive. So what do you think, Sonna?
I'd absolutely say no to repurposing it, because basically we're going back to what we had before. It was toilets before.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I didn't agree with the change originally, but to now go back, it just seems madness. So I just say, wait until the work's done and then relet.
Okay, right, what do you think?
And this time to a private company.
So far, it seems to me, attempting to let out the building has been spectacularly unsuccessful, because we've had a succession of tenants who've given up, and a variety of tenants, and it's time consuming, and it isn't free to be advertising it and working with somebody to try and get them to a contract, etc. And it isn't the same thing if we have a changing places toilets, because we've never had one of these before. We did have a different disabled toilet, as I recall, before the present one, which is not fit for purpose. I've had my ear bent on this by somebody in a wheelchair as to why it isn't fit for purpose, and I think I understand that much more clearly now. And to go to a changing places toilet seems to me to be the way forward, because increasingly we have increasing numbers of the population who are considerably disabled, adult members of the population who are considerably disabled, because more of us are getting older and having disabilities but still expecting to go out and about, quite likely, and also because seriously disabled people are now living when in the past they were much more likely to have died. So for those two reasons, we have an increasing number of physically disabled people who are becoming increasingly vocal, and in my opinion rightly so, about the fact that they are woefully catered for in our society. And I know Home Firth providing a toilet is not the be all and end all for everybody, but it would indicate that we at least understand the needs of disabled adults who would like to get out and about, and coupled with the fact that we've got better access in the town centre now, we're working towards better access in the town centre for disabled people. It seems to me those two things would go together nicely.
I agree. Do you want to speak?
Persuasive argument.
Yeah, I think Tricia said most of what I wanted to say actually. I do think though if we are going to go into it that we do have to look into getting further grants from the organisation that Gemma's proposed, and also negotiate with the groups in our, with the disabled groups in Holford and the area, Holford and the area. So
I've actually just in my travels recently just seen two changing places toilets which were sponsored by the local area and muscular dystrophy
Yes, yeah.
So it's obviously
So looking for additional funding as well as us contributing. And I think in terms of attracting people to the area and welcoming people to the area, then it would be money well spent.
I think public toilets are really important.
Mm.
80% of elderly people say they think about whether they're going to go visiting somewhere if they haven't got a public toilet. And that's terrible. It's just not on at all.
I do think that the letting, when we were letting out before, it hasn't been successful as Tricia mentioned. I mean, partly I think because of the choice of who we rent it out to and some other things. We had a really good person, a really good company that wanted to rent it at one point, making it a coffee shop or what's more coffee depot kind of thing. That was originally when we first started doing it. I think they would have been ideal there near to the bus station and things like that. But unfortunately that didn't go through, and whatever else has happened since hasn't really worked out that well. The disabled toilets we did put in there were far better than the provision that were there before. They are loads better than what were there before. The ones before didn't really work, they didn't open all the time and that. And but they still don't fit the needs of a lot of people and different types of people. And I can't think of any toilets in Holmfirth with businesses which have like hoists and things like that, and other people do. So it is. I can understand why some people are disappointed about it, because although we are fitting all the legal requirements and doing what we have to do, we're still segregating some members of the community and society.
Well, we're still failing a little bit with the disabled toilet that we have, because it's got 2 right-angled corners.
Yeah,
You can't get into
that's what I mean. It's not as good as it could be.
No.
And I admit that. Like I kind of think like Donna as well. I think that way that it would be good if we can get the right tenant, it would work. So you shouldn't rule that out. But like if there is grant funding available for doing something like this, and it would help those with the worst disabilities, it could be a really good thing that we could do for the community.
Okay. You? Sorry.
I was just looking at the balance figures for the building.
They're not good.
Well, they're not good, and the thing that's not included in those costs are the clerking team's time that's been spent on this, which if we billed for that, it would turn into a significant loss over the years. And okay, the clerking team's here, but they've got plenty of work to do.
You did put your time in at the bottom.
Yeah, 35 hours at £20 an hour.
Oh, right, sorry.
Quite modest.
Yeah,
all the time.
It's difficult, but I mean, what I did was I went through my the timesheets I keep in terms of coming up with that estimate, and that is, I mean, that is definitely on the cautious side, I would say.
Is that 35 hours over the whole period of 5 or 6 years?
I've not been here that long, so I can only go back to August 2021. So, but that's the time I've looked at.
That's why I think it's the answers to us. Sorry, Damien, I overlooked you.
In respect to the finances, obviously some of the finances we paid out for the outside building have been because we had a flip-flop decision-making process where we decided that we had a tenant, we signed up for it, we've done the legal, we've done we paid for Blythes to find them that one there, then we went back out there and we got the ethics team in there, so that cost us a rather large amount, and it was a waste of money. Given that ethics have now backed out, and we appear to be paying the decorating fees, which that's particularly lost on me. In respect of the full, of obviously changing the building there, I think that's one for full council, to be honest with you. I would like to see that go for a full council decision, so everyone can deliberate that one there, 'cause it seems quite a big decision to make, and that would also include F&M and potentially some project working to decide how we're going to get extra finances, because the council probably can't afford to do that one there on the reserves that we're holding currently. So I would propose it goes to full council for consideration.
I'll second that.
Does anyone else want to say anything?
I just want to say, because I know when you introduced it, Chair, this paper, you said it was Gemma's proposal. It is most categorically not Gemma's proposal.
Sorry, yes.
You know,
Well,
Gemma has produced this because I asked her to produce a briefing paper.
Yes.
And that came out of the discussions we've had, so I do want to make that very clear. The other thing I'm saying is when we started this off, what I was asking for is looking for direction. That direction doesn't have to be a decision. You know, actually, this is the first time you've discussed this. It's, you do need to know, as we did at full council, that, you know, we've had we know the tenancy is going to end. From my perspective, I would feel that there was a little bit of breathing space if you did not directly to go and find a new tenant now, but took the opportunity to, you know,
That's why I said
defer it.
until works are done and then
Yeah.
look at that.
So, well, I'm just to defer the decisions at all. Let's just have a think about it. I mean, what about Damien's suggestion? Sorry, Steve.
I don't see why we don't use the breathing space to take to Beckenham and full council, asking the architect that we're using at the moment to investigate if the unit can be adapted, and that's all. Because it could be that it can't be. So there's no point us discussing it if at the end of the day the unit cannot be adapted.
It could be, but it could. I would say, having spoken to the architect, that it's a distinct possibility to do that. Because it is.
Well, I mean, my feeling is it could be,
Yeah, but
but that's just a feeling.
pursue that further. Yeah.
You know, and the architect will have access to what dimensions are necessary, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
And otherwise, we could be talking about nothing, you spend a lot of time discussing it, when actually it could never go off the ground.
So, well, I would suggest that maybe the working party that's looking at the toilet block would take that a bit further, and then there'd be something a lot more specific, apart from general outline of the purpose of the changing places unit.
I mean, in the meantime, it can still be investigated as to whether or not any tenant wants it, because as it's turned out, it's not a unit that's popular.
Just for the record, I want to elaborate on that the tenants we've had right from the first letting were mostly private tenants, private sector tenants, and they failed. I mean, it's not conducive to success, that unit.
Looking around the room, 16 members here tonight, 3 that's giving apologies, so that's 19, and I think we've got 24 on the council. 23. So that's what I mean. We've pretty much got a full council here tonight. I think we can make a decision and decide which way we want to go with it tonight, rather than wait on it and sit on our hands. And like, if we want to go ahead with doing it that way, of the what do you call it, the special disabled toilet.
Yeah.
Can't find the wording for it.
Changing places.
Changing places.
Changing places, yeah. If we want to go ahead with it, I don't see why we should delay it. And like, it doesn't have to be spent from money from this year's budget. Like, we can start planning ahead towards doing it in next year's budget, and that would probably be the time where we should probably think about our decisions, and then they can prompt the budget decisions, which we'll probably be thinking about in the next meeting, rather than just delaying it, and then it could be a couple of years till we get on with it.
Can I propose that we task the working group then with costing up this changing places toilet and examining the feasibility, as Councillor Mowbray suggested, with the architect?
Yeah.
Second that.
Yeah. And then we come back with a more specific.
Yeah, with either here or to full council, whatever we want to do.
Can I propose first though that we don't continue to try and find a tenant, because I think letting it out is doomed to failure unless you never got a window in it, you never got a door in it, and I think, both commercially and with charities, it's a toilet block. And nobody really wants to be, selling coffee or, having an office in a toilet block. So I think
Should have been a laundrette.
a laundrette.
Anyone that knows my mum knows that should have always been a laundrette, that's what she always said.
Yeah, put that in the base now, yeah.
Okay, right, well,
So you've got two proposals, two motions on the table, haven't you, that are both seconded? So we need to put both of those to the vote.
Okay, so the first one is Donna's suggestion of let it lie until the repairs are done to the toilet and then revisit the options, if that's your proposal.
okay.
And the second proposal is for the working group to go and work out the feasibility and the cost of making a suitable disabled toilet space as part of the refurbishment of the toilet block in its entirety. So,
Have we got three then? Because I thought we had councillor Brooks as well. Because have I miscounted? Because there was one from councillor Brooks I thought was seconded too, which was to
go to full
Sorry, yes, Damien, you said that. To go to full council with the conundrum and get it
You
to be
need to
voted.
choose the order we're doing them in and we vote on each of them.
Right, okay, so Donna's proposal to let it lie till the repairs of the roof until the panels are put on and then revisit it.
No, it was to let it out.
To let it out.
No.
To revisit it.
You said to let it out to somebody in the private sector.
I said to revisit it and look at the private sector.
Yeah, it was an either or, wasn't it?
Can I suggest that councillor Brooks is first,
Yeah.
because if that's
Okay.
carried, the other two are.
There are only two, yeah, okay.
And I seconded councillor Brooks anyway.
Okay, so, yeah, councillor Brooks' proposal to take the whole business to full council. Those against taking it to full council? Abstentions? Okay, so the next voting point is Donna's suggestion of letting it lie until
The works are done
works are
and then
done, and then
revisit it.
looking again at either option.
I
A private let
or not to let.
Not to let. That is the question.
To let or not to let, right,
Okay.
okay. So,
Does that mean,
I don't know what we're voting for.
No,
I'm sorry,
I've lost it now, because
To leave it
alone,
so delay the decision until the repairs on the roof are done.
so not go for the one that councillor Green put forward, which is use the time to
get more
Yeah,
facts.
that's number three.
Follows
That's
on.
number three.
So
Do you still want it all to stand in the light of councillor Green saying, let's get some facts and costs together?
We can do both, yeah.
no, that's what I'm just saying. That's why I'm getting confused, we can't do that.
Right, so councillor Bellamy's is defer, as in no further discussion or anything about it until the repairs are completed and then come back to it. Is that right, councillor Bellamy?
That's correct.
Okay.
And
Right.
as opposed to that one, which is,
Use the time to
well,
go.
No, that's the first.
but I need to know what that one is before I know
Well,
how I'm going to vote on that one.
I was
Sorry.
proposing that we task the working group with investigating the costs and feasibility of,
Right. So that.
but
Separate
councillor
from that.
Bellamy's proposal would say we don't do that till after
Yes.
the
Yeah.
refurbishment, as I understand.
Yeah.
But councillor Green's would be to start now with the working group looking at costs.
Yeah, that's it. So if we vote for councillor Evans, we can't vote for councillor Wynne.
But the two can run concurrently.
No.
No.
One we can start
Councillor
now.
Bellamy is saying spend nothing until we've done the repairs, don't do any further work.
No further
Don't do
discussion
any
or
further work.
investigation.
Working just talking about investigation.
Yeah, she's saying don't do the investigation until the repairs are completed.
Sorry,
So-
that's,
so
not,
that's-
that's not how I understood.
No,
Well,
that's
that's
So
what I mean.
that's what we're voting on about.
Yeah, no.
That's about that.
Councillor Bellamy's suggestion is to
Apparently
wait,
so.
to hang fire and do nothing
At all.
at all until the repairs are done and then revisit it and look at the options.
Right. Okay, that's what we're voting
Councillor-
on now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so.
You've got to say all those in favour.
Now, wait for a second, look. All those in favour of councillor Bellamy's suggestion? all those against?
Can I say something at this point?
Yes.
I'm not voting against this because I don't think we should be.
No, I know what you.
It's because it's in two parts for me. So I don't
You
think
want
we
the
want to
delay, but
stop
you want to
everything.
start and discuss it now.
Me too, I'm not voting against the broad stroke, but I do want us to do work in the meantime.
Okay, so the second point then is, who's in favour of a working party looking at the feasibility of turning that unit into a changing
Well,
places?
the working pattern that already exists.
The working party that already exists, having a look at that.
Yeah.
And the work goes on.
Yeah, that's carried. So, do you want to do against that we've done it?
Yeah. All those against? All those abstaining? Four abstentions.
So,
No.
can I just make sure I'm clear then what you're directing me is?
So let me see how we can help you.
Right, so basically, the working group is going to continue looking into the changing spaces and costs and possible ways of getting funding for that. And in the meantime, you're not wanting the clerking team to do anything. We're having the repairs done and then we'll wait until the working group reports back, etc.
Yeah.
Right, good, thank you.
That's what I thought was going on, which is good, isn't it?
Yes, we're all clear, right. So, the next bit, is the maintenance of the toilets report.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything to say about that, apart from thanking our contractors for keeping going when there's been some particularly horrible graffiti and things that they had to get away. So they do a good job.
Positive report, wasn't it?
Yes.
Better than before, yeah. Right, point number 3, an update regarding the re-roofing and the solar panels project. So,
Want me to go first?
yeah.
So Councillor Bailey has withdrawn from the working group, so that now consists of Councillor Morgan, Councillor Dixon and Councillor Kirkby. There is a consider any further action motion here, so if anyone wants to join the working group, there's still obviously time for that. In terms of expected costs, so there was an additional £400 due to the wrong Velux windows being quoted for in the first place, and also we need to address the need for internet connectivity to operate the solar panels. There were some big decisions made last time, of course, to go ahead with this project. Looking ahead to the budget 2026-27, obviously a case needs to be made for refurbishment and identifying, you know, where that money will come from in terms of the budget.
Yeah.
So just to sort of kick off by saying that.
So the actual, work was going on.
When is the budget meeting for this committee?
17th of November.
Sorry, Alice.
So, the news at the moment is that the scaffolding is going up on Friday and the work starts on Monday to repair the roof, improve the look of the outside and put the solar panels on. The architect supervising, for that site.
Project managing.
Project managing, that's the word I was looking for. And it has been slightly more expensive than the original quote, but we have got enough money to do that within this year's budget, so it's fine.
I assume they're mending that great big hole at the same time.
Doing all of it. Gonna be quick.
We're going to leave the hole.
Yes, ventilation.
Yes, he's going around all the bits and goes, oops. So, yeah, so that's just midnight news is that it's actually starting.
That's great. Do we have a finish date for it? Do we know how
And they
long?
reckon it will take 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, great.
Because that's the amount of time that Jones had to book
The vacant
parking
space.
spaces in Scaffolding.
Yeah.
2 weeks things to be done. Right, so that's the news on that part. Then it's an interesting request from Fair and Funky to put a collage of a heron on one side of the toilet block.
Yeah, so but before
Oh,
we
you have
just
to-
come
sorry,
to that, can we consider mergers? This is a suggestion from Rich, that your two EMRs you have in this committee, EMR 331 Gartside Building 10,000 and 341 Gartside Building Energy Efficiency Projects are both merged together. So,
Vote on them.
yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Thank you. And also to approve expenditure of up to £7,848, including VAT, for a second deposit regarding solar panels and battery storage installation from EMR 331 Gartside Building.
Okay. Approval for that?
Thank you.
Do you have any against on that?
Sorry, those against?
We are already committed to it, aren't we?
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've forgotten to do this bit, so we've done it already. And the next part I'm not quite sure. Consider any further action.
That is, I put that in case there's any discussion, and as a committee you want to actually consider something else that we've not all,
Not considered.
Yes, yeah. So you can just ignore that one.
Okay. Right, now we're going to the collage of a heron from Fair and Funky, creating it with local schools, to consider the request to put it on the side of the toilets, which I know is only feasible once the toilets have been repaired and all those
What does
services
it
look
mean by
really
the
nice.
side? Is that facing the car park, facing
To be
up
decided
the hill?
on the back or on the side, pointing into the centre.
But they've said the side, so that the side that's got the vent, that's what they mean by side. So they're saying it would go up there.
Can I ask? Good question.
Yeah.
Are they planning on maintaining this collage of a heron? Okay.
I don't think it's not a permanent thing, it's an art display for a while.
But I think their request does say that they'll take responsibility.
They'll take responsibility
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen this area to look at it and decide whether it's fit to put there or not?
I think
Anybody
it's
looked?
if you read the literature about it, it says it is to be made in October, so no one's had a chance to see it yet. And I think it would be very small-minded to deny them the opportunity to display it in
Has
public.
anybody denied the opportunity to put them? Has anybody denied the opportunity?
We haven't, but you said by saying, have we seen it? I'm explaining
Well,
that we haven't seen
exactly.
it.
Don't you think we should look at things before we make decisions?
Oh,
Not necessarily.
Well,
We should be positive.
It's not the way I work, it's always
Encouragement.
the way you work. Simple as that.
Donald, it's an art project made with school children, and it's temporary, and it's going to be fixed
Well-
on the wall for people to
Well,
see.
you know, well, let's get the full story then.
Well,
Not half of it, make it in half a story. If the school children have done it, right, that's fine.
Yeah, and it's made with bottle tops. It's sort of it's an ecological project.
So you can't tell them not there.
Sorry.
The letter is quite self-explanatory. It's not going to be made until the 9th and 10th of next month, and they hope to have it on display a week later. So, I mean, I'm not quite sure what the alternative to saying yes is to saying no, rather than, well, we'll look at it later.
I think, yeah, we should just vote to approve this. It's a school project that they're going to put up in a public place, and the toilet is quite a big public place, isn't it?
And if it's absolutely horrendous, just take it off.
Right.
Strong wind that night.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a really nice idea. And the kids will go and see it.
Turn off the
And
CCTV.
if you go to like other cities like Bristol's one, and there's one down near the town ground now, one of the old town place. These murals are good in some places, and there's a couple of other like ends of building and then first I can think of which look quite ugly, which could do a nice mural like. There's one down by where the bowling club is in Firth by the Sands, isn't there? That they did back of there. Is it Yorkshire Firth or something like that? It's great, stuff like that. It's good and people see it and look at it and like it, so should approve stuff like that. And I should also mention, by the way, I got something through from Aidan School today about some bottle caps and something that we on Friday. So
you're an investor in it,
so,
We declared it.
do I need to find interest in that or not? I might do making part of this artwork. So actually, so if it is rubbish, you can blame it on me.
So, sorry, David.
Bottle tops, does it say the plastic bottle tops for that one? And it's an ecological project.
Yeah.
It's recycling.
Yes, it's a sort of.
Recycling it.
Yeah, I mean, they already exist, they're gonna use them as decoration, they're not making more plastic, they're playing with the plastic that already exists.
I agree with you, recycling means that you're going to create something else out of it, which is put it back into the system.
And it also has a double message because there are a lot of plastic bottle tops in the surrounding. There's not that many herrings, so.
Thank you.
Right. So, do we have to vote?
Yeah, so you're voting to approve or disapprove the request, aren't you? So, for or against it.
Okay.
Well,
So,
Can I just
sorry.
add one other thing in the letter? It does say, can we agree a timeline for its longevity? So I think we are also being asked, how long can they put it up for?
I must admit,
Well,
I
that
read
does
as
depend
how
how
long.
much we like it.
Well, I read it as how long will it last? Because it's made by children, you know, and it's bad stormy
They
weather.
they
it
are
lasts.
asking us to agree a timeline.
It just says as long as possible.
But if you
Nothing else about the
So
town
first
planners.
girl past
Nothing else about the town planners curve these, there may be some restrictions on how you can fix into buildings, how long you can do for we're in a conservation area after all, so that might be worth checking before we agree to this.
Yeah.
Conservation area, you can't just stick what you want label.
28 days without the need for planning permission, so that's fine.
Well, let's say 28 days.
Well, if it's 28 days, we need to confirm that, and then we can tell them we can have the display for 28 days. So we'd have a fact then, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
That's fine.
sounds sensible to me.
That's a month, isn't it?
So can we vote to have it for 28 days, assuming 28 days is correct?
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So,
I'll second that.
Okay, so we're going to vote to approve this art project on the toilet, 28 days. Is that subject to planning?
600,000, I think.
Take advice.
Assuming that's correct, that's what we're voting on.
I think you're therefore voting in principle, and then an action for me is to check. whether that's what you need. Yes.
Okay, those in favour of a heron collage? Unanimous.
I like to abstain, because my son's involved with it, so.
You're not expecting any royalties. He's the artistic advisor.
If he goes into great things through that now, I can,
Right, other assets
Yeah, item 31, the progress regarding possible tendering process. So it's on, I've left it on the agenda. I've not done anything further on this, but I've deliberately left it on the agenda because it is a significant outstanding task that I've not had the time to further. And I know the staff performance and and development lead, Councillor Blacker, will confirm that this is something I've spoken to her about, that I am concerned about. So we do have contract extensions in place until the 31st of December 2025. I'm just aware I'm going to be off for several weeks due to my knee. So time is running short, so I'm just sharing my concerns and stress about this with you so that you are all aware of it. And also it's going to have implications possibly for the budget discussion, in that when we go to these new contracts, until that process has been seen through to conclusion, we don't quite know what those contracts are going to cost us.
You say you're concerned, Jen. Are there any actions that we could take to alleviate your concern?
I don't think there is. I just need to find the time to do it.
Right.
I mean,
You can always come up with a sedan chair and just bring you in.
yes, I don't think that's quite going to work. No, this is genuinely, I am concerned about getting this done on time. I need you all to know that. And when I come back, that's going to be something that I focus on. So if you're ringing me up or wanting things and I say, I'm sorry, can't do that because I'm doing this, then you know why that is.
So you want to
So we're not
And minute that we've noted that.
Yeah.
Taking from the board, come on.
Right.
Other assets?
Yeah, the maintenance contractors report is noted. Consideration is for the bench owned by the parish council that's actually sitting next to a tea shop on the corner of Victoria Street. Which we're going to talk about
Yes.
correspondence.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about benches in stone shelters first. Just to say, since the last meeting, 88 benches have been inspected, the area around them swept and tied. A further 15 have been repaired, revarnished or repainted as appropriate, and that includes one in the Upper Home Valley at Austinley, that's bench A10, 2 in Fullstone Ward, F6 and F7, 2 in Netherthong, N1 and N2, 1 in Scholes, S1, 1 in Upper Thong, U2, 1 in Honley Central, that's a Latour bench. The bench near Sid's Cafe in Holmfirth, the Jubilee bench in Holmfirth, the Jubilee bench in Netherthong, the one at Long in Hayde Edge, the bench in the shelter in Home Village that needed rebuilding really, and one other in Upper Thong, U8. There have also been other benches at Sood Hill and Old Moor Road in Honley repaired. And I know John's been working on benches in Honley and Hepworth as well. So sort of travelled quite widely over the home valley to keep the benches in good order. So that's just to let you know that. Also from the last meeting, regarding the Sedum roof for bench SH1 in Honley Eastgate and about the Friends of Honley exploring a cedar roof. I don't know if there's anything to report on that. I've not been told anything.
No, I don't think there is anything.
Can I just ask about the shelter up at Hayde Edge on the wreck?
Yes.
Which was also going to be investigated potentially for a cedar roof.
Right. I've not got anything. Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Did you meet with John in the end?
John was investigating. If I remember rightly, the suggestion was that there would be a temporary repair to the roof, which is over the bus shelter side of it, and then a longer term thing would be that we would look at replacing the roof.
Were you expecting a report from John on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll do is after the meeting, I'll ring John tomorrow and I'll email out to the committee whatever he's got to report on that.
Okay.
I think there's a problem with this about squaring the circle because the Honley cedar roof suggestion hasn't progressed, and then John will be waiting to wondering what, you know, the procedure is for making a green roof and how you transfer that into a different type of building. So I don't quite know how we swell. So
And it's a different design at Haylich.
It's a different design, yeah.
And the final thing about benches and shelters, we've been having issues, I'm just sort of letting people know, because you might have picked this up through Facebook. We've been having issues with a memorial plaque that was put on bench A7 at Greengate Road, Digley, because it's been removed twice by persons unknown. I'm waiting to hear back from the people who asked to have the plaque established as to whether they want us to have a third go at installing a plaque for them using security screws, which apparently are a thing. So, who knew? But I've not heard back from them yet. But I mean, that's a little bit worrying, you know, that it got sort of targeted really.
It must be distressing for them, mustn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know in case you picked anything up on that on social media. So then indeed we move on to this thing about the request from Wilby's regarding the bench adjacent to 36 Victoria Street.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen the paperwork regarding this. So to just take you back, people who were on service provision about 3 years ago, I think, when we were first asked about a bench that was the other side of what is now the cheese shop. And that, we were asked to remove that bench, which given that it's on that shop's premises land, you know, we could and establish somewhere else. Well, now we're being asked to go into an agreement about the bench being on the cheese shop's land, basically. And apparently, this is something new to me, that there had been an agreement in the past regarding that particular land and a licence arrangement regarding a bench. So we're being asked to enter into the same thing now.
Is it a free of charge licence? You're not being charged for it, are we?
It is free of charge. There's been no charge mentioned whatsoever.
So this is just a permission thing, really?
Yes, and I have asked a question via email as to whether there's a likelihood that we would be asked to remove that bench, and the response that came back from Wilby's was there is no intention that we'll be asked to remove it, but we were asked to remove the one at the front. So
But the difference was that the other one was an area where they were then going to, but they are now using seating.
Indeed.
They did use the front then where the other bench is during the food and drink festival.
That's on an ad hoc, isn't it? So 2 days a year.
They might expand.
So is that's just to note that this is ongoing, this is not a decision, there isn't anything to discuss.
Yes, you need to consider whether you want to recommend to full council entering into that agreement. An agreement of this kind should go to full council. It's a legal agreement, isn't it? Or quasi-legal agreement. But, you know, benches come under your remit, so full council would expect you to discuss it and come up with a recommendation one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's a full council.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favour of it going to full council?
Recommending.
Recommending it to full
Sorry,
council.
Yeah.
Recommend it. Well, accept the agreement for council.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we move on to war memorials. So you'll have seen in the papers the method statements that I've come up with for the Help of AI for repair to Hepworth War Memorial. That's being shared with 2 different stonemasons groups. I'm still waiting to hear back from them as to whether they're willing to give us a quote based on there. Once I've had their responses, so far I've contacted the stonemason that gave us the original quote, and then one whose number was passed on to me by Councillor Green, I think. If they don't want to quote, obviously I'll move on to find other people who will quote for the work. So, but in terms of putting forward a grant application to the War Memorials Trust, it's important that anyone we commission to do the work can sign up to all the things in that method statement. Don't know if anyone's got any questions for me on that, otherwise I'll move on to... Lovely. Red Heritage Phone Kiosk, so you'll see that there's movement about the Hepworth one. I've tried to make contact with the Butcher's Arms again today. I think I have to resort to ringing them because they're not answering my email about it.
So, no progress.
Well, it's a new thing really. So it's whether or not one of the things you need to consider as a committee is whether you approve in principle applying for the ownership of the Heritage phone kiosk in Hepworth. Obviously, that has to be subject to the agreement of the owners of the Butcher's Arms.
So are we suggesting they're going to give us the phone box, but we might have to spend 687 quid or something similar to refurbish?
Yeah, and we've not any money in the budget this year, so it would have to go into next year's budget, I think. So it'd be April before we can do it. But
It might take that long to sort out.
Yeah,
Butcher's
it's quite
Arms
long,
anyway.
it could well do.
Yeah, I think it's on land owned by the butchers or right next to it, and the people that own the butchers previously expressed interest in doing it. When we took on all the phone boxes before, we didn't take on this one because this is a special phone box. It's not mentioned here, it's listed. Don't know why. I look at it and it just looks like any other red telephone box, but it's a special one. So like, it must be a special design, it's like special. So if we do have to renovate it, it may cost more than that there because it's listed. And then there may be certain requirements of the way to maintain it in that way, and that's why the council didn't take it on the board and just thought, And but like Nedworth Community Trust want to keep it and maintain it now, but if we don't want to take it on, because it's listed, so.
Right, given that is new information to me that I did not know before, can I suggest that is just deferred in its entirety, and I'll find out about that.
Probably, well, the planning commission did an inquiry is also made as part of that, as to whether it could be delisted.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it can be appealed as having the choice, but you know.
And I've got one thing to report about the defibrillators. So on the 12th of August, a new defibrillator for Homefirst Toilets defib was ordered at a cost of £77.94. The interesting thing, part of the reason I'm bringing this up with you is actually that defibrillator got used twice in a week. So as soon as the pad had been replaced, it got used again. Now, we're not able, no one is able to get details of how that equipment got used or who it was used for or whether in this instance it did indeed help save a life. But I did have a long conversation with the volunteer who checks all the defibs for us in the valley, including the ones owned by, the ones under our custodianship. And he was, you know, saying how important that equipment is, and that this is something that is worth publicising and letting people know about. You know, the fact that that defib may well have been involved in within a week in sort of saving two lives. You know, so I just thought you would be interested to hear that as a committee.
But when they are used as well, you have to get codes to be able to actually go into them and access them and actually use them, and that's given by the 999 operator or whoever else it is. So it's not just people using them willy-nilly, they're getting used for a serious reason, and that's why they've been taken out.
Yeah.
Might be worth doing a Facebook post about that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, but
thinking that.
we've been working on that, but trying to get the wording quite right, because we don't want to sort of make claims that we can't justify. But I mean, he did say that that's the first time he's aware, in all the time he's been servicing DFIBs in the Home Valley, where one has been used twice in a week.
You could just put use twice in 1 week, you don't have to go into too much detail, do you? You don't know what it was used for,
Yeah,
but
people can infer.
just proves how important it is, you know, that it was used twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
Right, so Curly Memorial Orchard.
Still chasing up, getting the memorial plaque. Yeah, so it is the volume of work that's been cited as a reason for the delay.
New Mill Close Cemetery.
Trying to think whether we've had I think we did the visit before the last service provision. Did we report on that at the last service provision meeting? That visit to New
Have
Mill.
you been to see it?
I went, did you?
I went,
Yeah. I think I did report.
I don't think I was at the last service provision meeting. We were
I'll
quite
say yes.
impressed. We were impressed with the work that's been done there, weren't we?
It was, I remember it was a useful meeting. I think Harry was going to come.
I was going to
you were
call it
somewhere else. It was a useful meeting. It was helpful in terms of our relationship with them. It also gave us a chance to sort of reappraise, if you like, our responsibilities of the condition of the walls and so on. Can I leave it at that?
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jen and I having a poke. But yeah.
Right. So no further action at the moment. Public area litter and dog waste management. We've done this.
But first of all, apologies. I've not sent that thank you letter and card to all volunteers. So I will do that before I am off on the 1st.
Okay.
In brief, Chair, I think at the last meeting we were saying that the bins had been ordered, so they have been installed now. I do want to be very clear, we paid for those from Parish Council, and I'm saying that because there was various, comments on Facebook and so on that seemed to detract from that. It was Parish Council that initiated that and paid for it, and did get support from Kirklees because we couldn't install them otherwise. But that was a successful outcome. Personal view, there's still other bins there that could be replaced, but we're not moving any further on that from our
So your project is done.
I think our project is done, but I'm going to make an apology to Tom because it was only when I was looking at you for that as well. It was only when I was looking at the minutes from the last service provision I realised that we roped you in to being part of the working group and have not discussed anything more with you. But our proposal, certainly from Mary and I, is that the working group is wound up now. We've run out of energy for it.
I've got a bit of a suggestion actually. It's probably like on my Facebook post or something like that. Where I live, I got a large, there was some dog food outside my house and I was fuming about it. It's been quite a bit near where I live. And a few people had told me who it was who was doing it and things like that. And it got to the point where massive amount right outside my driveway, I was fuming about it. So I cleaned it up anyway. And went with Kirklees and reported the guy to the dog warden. And since then, it's stopped to it near where I live. It's a lot better. But what local residents do tell me that is that, like, round about this time of year, when it gets cold and gets towards winter, it's supposed to get worse in some places. So, in fact, it's probably worth putting the contact details for the dog people on Kirklees and who to go to and report to these things about. Because we got a good result out of that, and really pleased with it. And like I say, I don't know if it was this person, but it has stopped. And the amount of dog food that used to be around the school and the payments around them has stopped as well. So it's worth putting the details on there of these people and getting it out there.
I think that, can I just say, I mean, what Gemma's currently doing with the website is including quite a lot, a directory of things like that, and where to go to, so.
I don't think it's dog warning, but like, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, yeah. So otherwise, if this committee is happy, we will wind up that working group and return the funds that are currently still in that budget.
Okay.
So do you want a motion to return the monies to general reserves from that
Yes.
earmark reserve?
I'll move that.
Okay. Second it. Voting on returning money to general reserves. Job done.
You'll probably find it has to be full council.
It's listed as it's now, it's a K6.
Be a recommendation.
We recommend, to recommend.
Special. Yeah. It's a very special.
Right.
2,401.
Tourism, so that's your against.
It is. Well, I'm extremely pleased to report that the Home Valley Heritage Week, which just finished yesterday, I think we haven't done the evaluation yet, that will happen next week, but I think it's been an amazing success. We're really, really pleased with it. There's been, just very briefly, there's been loads of events, activities, as well as the open days and so on around the area. My guesstimate is that there will have been around more than 1,000 visits to different things. That's not 1,000 separate people, but 1,000 attendances, if you like. It's been done on a shoestring. You know, virtually there's £600 going from our EMR for tourism as a contribution to it, and the rest of the money came from the conservation group. And I have to say, most of the venues and so on were all given free of charge. It's, you know, delighted with it. We'll start looking again as to where it goes next, but there's a lot to build on here in terms of we've now got a digital platform for our local heritage, which might also, you know, we can see how that fits with the concept of a heritage centre as such and so on, so I don't know where that's going to go. The relationships with quite a number of businesses and different venues and so on has been amazing. Nowhere Bar yesterday was great, wasn't it? So lots of things like that. I'll certainly answer any questions, but I mean there's other things going on with tourism, but the focus has been on this for the moment, and I'm really, really pleased.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to what you said there, Maurice. I think it's done us, as a parish council, a great deal of good. Right across the piece in terms of community groups and businesses, and just general awareness that we are, as an organisation, using money to support the community and community activity, which is around heritage and tourism. It's been a win-win-win.
It's been great.
Yeah, the Civic Society had a talk on about, was it Magnum last week? Last week, yeah. And I didn't go to it, but I heard about it, because my mum and dad got there about 5 minutes before it started, and the capacity was 450. So my mum and dad were fuming because they go to all of them and let alone in this one. It was only full because it was free this time, and you normally get a seat.
And it was just me.
Look, yes, it's your, I told my mum that it's your fault.
Well, you're right, we turned away more than 20 people.
But seriously, it's good to see so many people are passionate and getting involved there and coming to the Civic Hall as well. It's brilliant.
And on the same night, there was a talk at the library, and there was a clash in the programme, but they still filled up as well.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Asking nicely and coming out to them and down.
Right.
And we had an open day, as we always do, at the Quaker Meeting House at Wooldale, but we had more visitors this time, because it was put forward to us earlier on in the year that we might put on some artwork as well as part of it. We had a number of Quaker members put on a variety of artwork, painting, photography, embroidery, quilts, all sorts of things. and people from the various groups, that photography and the embroidery group and things, came to see it and then talked about the heritage of the building and asked lots of questions about Quakerism and met each other and got overexcited about what was going on. It was lovely, and we took the opportunity, well, I took the opportunity to point out that we'd got the big community event in November and that they could come along to that as well. So it was deemed to be a very successful day. We sat yesterday when I went to Quaker meeting, we were very pleased with the results of it. Yeah.
Wow, good all round.
Yes.
Right. Now, moving on, youth work in the Hoon Valley, report about the youth worker, the numbers.
Well, I've got on Clark to report further, but I'm not sure I've got anything further to say about it really.
I thought the numbers looked good. I thought the general report was a nice positive report.
No, the department one, yeah.
No report. So we've noted that. We'll move on to the transport working group. And Stockton Universe provision update from Lawrence again.
We were, well, there's a few things happening. I won't get loads of detail here. We had a working group meeting a few weeks ago, wasn't it? We're working well along, in partnership with the Pennine Line partnership with Epics at the moment, but we'll see where that goes, obviously. We're making recommendations, we'll see where they go. It's the bus route, maybe, some changes to some of the bus routes and so on. Noted the outcome from the Ask Conley recent report that went in. And I read Kirklees and said, we want to work in partnership with Kirklees and the Bonnie communities.
I mean, the sad thing is that in the first tranche of work, Conley won't get disabled access or shelter for people waiting in the rain. But the line will be improved, and I guess they're in a queue.
There's some plans for works though on the station. I was at the meeting with Sarah and Julie and Charles and whoever else were there, the guy from Network Rail and the Kirklees officers as well. And there is some plans for some improvements to the station, and we've just got to look at...
Yeah, but not full disabled access or wheelchair access.
That depends. depends on what they can do.
Yeah.
It won't be a lift. It depends on.
I think they'll pretty it up and not provide access.
Yeah, no,
the line will be improved.
They've got to provide access by whatever it is, 20. I don't know. It's got to by law.
Anyway, the group, everyone is talking to each other.
Yeah.
And our working group is talking to us, Conley, and our partnership, so we're just pressing on, aren't we?
Separately, Park and Ride, possibly a new avenue that we're exploring, but we'll leave it for that at the moment. On the agenda here, any actions in respect of the with the brokered Scots bus service? Was there something I needed to talk about it?
Not unless you know something I don't.
No, okay. I don't think there's any actions, and I think the timing, because of the franchising thing, is just wrong.
I was going to ask, were we not talking about producing a leaflet, a paper leaflet for tourists on the Scots buses?
The network generally.
Yes.
We've got a meeting tomorrow,
Right.
Alice and myself and Gemma are meeting tomorrow, and we're in touch with a designer, who's done some of that sort of stuff in the past.
Yeah, that's my particular thing.
Yeah, because I've been riding those Scots buses lately, and I think lots of tourists would like to get one of those, because quite a white knuckle ride sometimes, but very entertaining, and
But
you
if
get
you'd like to know where you're going.
Yes.
We'll use exactly that phrase.
I mean, in relation to that, I'm wondering if we can produce a Bex London Underground type map.
That's what we're
Yes.
looking for.
Yes.
Filling up in the bus station.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Travelling all
our
the day.
ultimate goal.
Yes.
Because I spoke to someone the other day who caught a bus that came down Greenfield Road that started its journey, I think, in Dogcross or something. And it the route runs once a week or one day a week.
There are loads, you can go to Meadowhall and all over. Yeah. But it's
The
not
bus driver was
obvious.
surprised that someone actually stopped him to come into Home First. It's the first time he'd ever been stopped.
Yeah, Tom.
We're quite good at it. It's like, do you know all the timetables you get at the bus stop? If we can get our map together and put a thing, if we contact Metro and say to them, can you put a QR code onto our map?
Yeah.
Something like that would be really good.
Well, we can do that. We can put the QR.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if they can include it within the timetable, like things, do people even look at timetables anymore? I just look at my phone anyway. But like, it might be something that some people might look at it and might use it and get it out there.
I think what we will probably do is go for something that's got a long shelf life.
Yeah.
So, not pin it down to too much detail, but you're right, if it points to...
Yeah, that might be another way of getting it out there. And then people can, if you get it on the phone, you can take a screenshot of it and they've got it there as well. Go, Chris.
I'm going to suggest that the answer to your question, Tom, is the people that still use timetables don't also use QR codes.
Probably.
I think there's room for both, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Right, so yeah, that's situation with
Can I just say that I know that Councillor Whitehall forwarded to me something from the Trans-Pennine Route Upgrade Community Fund, returning for its second year with 250,000 available to support even more local community projects. The fund aims to create or improve vital indoor and outdoor community spaces in places along the route. Funding is available in grants of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 and 20,000. Applications open Monday, October the 6th and close on Monday, 27th of October.
I think you've got to within 5 miles of the route.
Oh, right.
It might be
It's very mind considerable by the council area. We're well within 5 miles.
No, it comes into the middle of Home First.
Trans-Pennine.
Yeah,
not the Pennine.
Oh, that's Trans-Pennine, is it?
Because we looked at it for Cartmore Cricket Club and we're about 3/4 of a mile outside the line.
I just couldn't help thinking that £250,000 if I put some disabled access in Hotley Station. It's a bit frustrating.
Anyway, right. So the last point to consider after looking at the transport route, which is that it's an ongoing operation, we're meeting tomorrow. The last one is climate action activities. I am never quite sure how that goes because we should have been talking about that all the way through.
Well, I think we have. Yeah.
We have, yeah. So is it just
So tick, put a tick.
Just
next
send
to
it
item.
Councillor Green, put it in.
It's all right, milk ball tops.
Stephen Rose, the whole of the transport working group. Solar panels on the Christmas tree.
Yeah, and the concern about the number of lights in one.
Yes.
right?
And trees.
Anyway, items for publicity. I was just going to suggest the defibrillator.
Yeah, there's a good story there,
Yeah.
Can I suggest the heritage, the success of heritage?
Absolutely.
Because I do feel that, I think it was a fantastic event, but I don't think the parish council was particularly credited. I don't think people would realise that we had much to do with it, so. I mean, I know it's in partnership with other groups, but still,
But yeah,
we went out to the event, people know.
Lovely, thank you.